It appears that His Majesty King Charles III feels that this will be more damaging than even people first thought regarding his forthcoming reign as our brand new king. But as ever, what are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and as ever, thank you so much for joining me today. Nice to have your company. Whatever you're doing, keep well, keep safe, as I often say here on the show, and it is lovely to speak to you. Thank you for your kind comments about people saying, for those that are out there on their own, sometimes I'm their only voice. Sadly, as I say, I do feel sorry for you. It mustn't, I mean, can you imagine waking up and thinking, this is the only voice I'm going to listen to today? There must be, get a radio. Trust me, there's some lovely things on there. I'm only teasing, of course. It's lovely to have your company. And if you are on your own today, as I often say, you're truly not on your own. Just give us a wave, try and keep positive. Look to the light, as I often say, you know. There's always something good round the corner. You just have to live in hope. That's my motto. Now, if anybody knows the secret numbers of the lottery, you know, just slip them by private message, you know, just you and me. Can you imagine if we won the lottery? Oh, yes. Marvellous, wouldn't it? You know, you don't need much money either to be happy, do you? I just think it's simple things in life, you know, being able to afford that expensive cup of coffee that you wouldn't normally buy, you know, going on a trip where somebody could drive you there rather than struggling on public transport. I'm a simple soul, you know, deep down. Like the simple things in life, you know. Back as ever though to your break your roll story of the day. This story really is very sad in a sense because, you know, we've got our brand new king, King Charles III, and I do feel sorry for him because, you know, it must be very difficult. He lost his mum, and I know, you know, people say she was 96. People don't normally have their mother for that long. I get that, but she wasn't just an ordinary mum, was she? She was the reigning monarch of 70 years, a woman who's done so much in service and, you know, everything really. You know, she's our lifetime, isn't she? Everybody knows Queen Elizabeth II, but, you know, to, of course, King Charles, she was simply his mum. And now he's got to pick up that very difficult baton of leading that forward, all of her legacy that she created over 70 years. But the biggest problem is this, according to a very good source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly. You see, what His Majesty is really baffled by, and what apparently he did speak to his youngest son about, was the fact that he was stunned that Harry had decided to sign on with the streaming giant Netflix. Not necessarily to do with the money, but more or less how could he, with regards of course to The Crown, the ill-fated soap opera TV series that's still ongoing. And if you saw that story recently, they're now turning on the late Duke of Edinburgh. I mean, how crass is that? Suggesting of course that he had all sorts of difficult relationships, shall we say, in the past. Totally unproven, and of course they've got full carte blanche now because sadly the deceased can't answer back, can they? The lady in question is still around though, so that's very strange, very brave of them. But according to that good source, His Majesty the King just sort of feels like, well, you know, if you could have signed on with anybody, there are other streaming giants. Why did you pick on that one? Knowing full well that they're going to make it really difficult. And more so, you know, you have to think for His Majesty the King, more so in this particular period as we now move forward, they're going to be bringing up all the negative stuff, all the negative PR from a one-sided point of view for ratings and to get headlines. And that could be incredibly damaging as we head towards our planned wonderful coronation. And again, you know, you have to think, if you are in the sort of shoes of course, His Majesty the King, King Charles, what has he done truly to deserve this from his youngest son? He's baffled, as I'm sure the rest of the world are, but seemingly Harry and his wife Meghan show no plans to relent back and, you know, seal the deal, move off. They could do if they really wanted to, and I'm sure King Charles would help in some ways that he could financially, even if it was privately. But seemingly Harry and Meghan have no plans to do that. What a cruel world we now live in, eh? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.